everyone, today we're going to be talking about simple interest. So you're going to use the worksheet that I gave you in class, and you're going to fill in the examples as I do them here. So let's start by talking about what interest is. Interest is money paid or earned for the use of money. So two main places where you see interest is a savings account, or you put money into the bank, and the bank is going to pay you interest for putting your money in their bank. And you also see interest when you take a loan, either from a bank or a person. When you borrow money or you take a loan from someone, they're going to charge you interest. So they're letting you borrow their money, but they're making you essentially pay a fee for that money. That's the interest. The principal is the amount of money borrowed or deposited. So that's what you're starting with. So our simple interest formula is what we're going to look at. Simple interest is money paid or earned only on the principal. So when you find simple interest, it's going to be a percentage of the principal, the money that you started with. Our simple interest formula is I equals P times R times T. I stands for the simple interest, the amount of money, the interest that you earned. P stands for the principal, that's the amount of money you started with. R stands for the annual interest rate. When you plug your interest rate in, you're going to have to change it to a decimal. So they're going to give it to you as a percent, you change it to a decimal. And finally T, which is your time in years. It's very important that you plug it in as years. If you get a problem where they give it to you as months, you're going to have to convert months to years. So don't forget to convert months to years, and if it's an interest rate, they're going to give it to you as a decimal. They're going to give it to you as a percent, and you have to change it to a decimal. Okay? So let's just look at the formula a little bigger. This is what we're going to be using for all of our problems. I equals P times R times T. So take a look at example number 1. You're going to copy down what I'm doing and follow along with me. So you put $500 in a savings account. The account earns 3% simple interest per year. Part A, what is the interest earned after 3 years? So we're always going to start with our simple interest formula. I equals P times R times T. You're going to know 3 of those pieces, and you're going to be solving for the 4th one. So looking back at this problem, let's see what we know. You put $500 in a savings account. That's your principal. That's what you started with. So I'm going to list what I know over on the right. P equals 500. The account earns 3% simple interest per year. So 3% simple interest. That's our rate, our R value. Ooh. So remember I told you that they give it to you as a percent, you have to change it to a decimal. So to change 3% to a decimal, it will be 0.03 or 3 hundredths. You take the 3, you move the decimal point 2 places to the left to change it to a decimal. So part A asks us what's the interest earned after 3 years. So 3 years is our time, our T. And we're looking for the interest. That's what we want to know. So that's I. That's our question mark. That's what we're looking for. So let's plug everything we know into the equation. I is our variable. That's what we're solving for. P is 500. R is 3 hundredths. And T is 3. So now we can solve for I. We just have to multiply 500 times 3 hundredths times 3. And when you do that, you get 45. So our interest is $45. Part B of the question asks, what is the balance? So a balance is the total amount of money that you have. So in order to find the balance, we're going to add the interest to the principal. So the principal is what you put in the account, and now you've earned this amount of money in interest, so they're going to add it on. So we have $500 in the account. We earned $45 in interest, so we will add them together, and our balance is $545. Let's look at example number 2. This time we're going to find an annual interest rate. So again, start with our formula. We're going to list everything we know and figure out what we're solving for. You put $1,000 in an account. The account earns $100 simple interest in 4 years. What is the annual interest rate? Okay, so we know that you put $100 into the account. That's your principal. So P equals 1,000. I don't know if I said 100, I meant 1,000. P is 1,000. The account earns $100 simple interest. So that's your I, the interest that was earned. So I equals 100. And it was in the account for 4 years, so your time is 4. And we're looking for the rate. We're looking for R. So plug in what you know. I is 100. P is 1,000. R is our variable that we're solving for. And T is 4. So now we can go ahead and solve the equation. So simplify the right-hand side. So you're going to have 100 equals 1,000 times 4 is 4,000 times R. To solve for R, divide both sides of your equation by 4,000. And when you do that, you're going to get 25 thousandths. So the rate is written as a decimal, and now we're going to change it back to a percent, because when we talk about the rates, we want them as percents. So to change it to a percent, I'm going to move the decimal point 2 places to the right. So my final answer, my annual interest rate is 2.5%. Let's look at one more example. In our final example, we're finding an amount of time. So a bank offers 3 savings accounts. The simple interest rate is determined by the principal. So if you take a look at the pictogram, the pictures, it tells you that if your principal is less than $500, your rate will be 1.5%. If it's between $500 and $5,000, it will be 2%. And if it's more than $5,000, it will be 3%. So going back to the question, it's asking how long does it take an account with a principal of $800 to earn $100 in interest? And underneath the pictogram it says the pictogram shows that the interest rate for a principal of $800 is 2%. So that $800 falls into this category, so your rate is 2%. So start with our equation. I equals P times R times T. List everything that we know. The principal is $800. The interest that we're earning is $100. The rate is 2%, changed to a decimal, 0.02 or 200ths, and we are looking for the time. It's asking us how long does it take. So our time, or our T, is our question mark. Plug in what you know. 100 equals 800 times 200ths times T. Go ahead and simplify. 100 equals 800 times 200ths is 16 times T. Solve for T by dividing both sides by 16. And you're going to get that T is equal to let me fix that. T is equal to 6.25 or 6 1/4. So the time that it will take is 6 1/4 years. So now you've seen 3 examples. I want you to try the 5 problems on the back of your example problems. If you need to go back and watch the video again, definitely do that.